What is up, film geeks? My name is Trevor and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you my favorite movies from my favorite franchises. This is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I finally got around to doing it. And a couple things before we get into this video. If your favorite franchise isn't on this list, it's because it's not one of my favorite franchises. Literally, my favorite franchises and my favorite movie from that said franchise. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Hit the like button, subscribe button, comment down below your favorite movie from your favorite franchises. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Let's do this. And one final thing before we get into this video, you're not gonna know the franchise I'm talking about or any franchise on this list until I announce them. Kind of gonna be a little fun surprise as we go along. Starting off, I would say on a semi-strong note, the DCEU. While the DCEU does have its problems, it has some hidden gems in there, and honestly, some of my favorite comic book movies of all time, aka the Suicide Squad. I absolutely love this movie. James Gunn gets to be full James Gunn. It's a hard R, raunchy, hilarious, action-packed comic book blockbuster, and I love it. It's out of this world. Like, literally, there's a huge starfish running around, Peacemaker running around shooting people's wieners off. The movie gets crazy, people, but I absolutely love it. Every time I go back and watch it, I love it that much more. I love that James Gunn just had straight freedom with this movie, and I love the spin-off show of Peacemaker. I think it's great. DCEU, it does get a lot of hate, but I think they've been turning that around a little bit. We'll see how they do with the future movies, but as of right now, it still is one of my favorite franchises. The Suicide Squad easily takes the case. Moving on over to the Wizarding World, the Harry Potter franchise. I'm a die-hard Harry Potter guy, and that actually came to fruition this year. I watched all the Harry Potter movies pretty much for the first time in the last 10 years this year in 2022. But my favorite Harry Potter movie is going to be The Prisoner of Azkaban. This movie is just epic and awesome and amazing, and a close second would be Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm a die-hard Deathly Hallows Part 2 guy. The Prisoner of Azkaban is one of those movies I remember watching as a kid and loving the character of Sirius Black. But now as I'm an adult and I go back and watch these movies, I love the character of Sirius Black that much more. I love time travel. Like, it's one of my favorite aspects in film. So when I get to see time travel done so well with this movie, I mean, Alfonso Cuarón, it's probably my favorite movie by him, and this movie's fantastic. And the kids are much more grown up. They are much more familiar with each other, have really good chemistry, a great movie. Sirius Black, Buckbeak. Are you joking? It's absolutely fantastic. Heading over to Middle Earth, I have The Return of the King. The Middle Earth franchise consists of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings movies. While I love all these movies, Return of the King easily steals this cake at the #1 spot, and it's arguably my favorite movie of all time. Has won 11 Oscars, rightfully so. This movie's epic. Look at the definition of epic in the dictionary. There's a great big picture of the Return of the King poster. Everything and more you could want in a finale like of Return of the King, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, this movie has. It's epic, it's emotional, and just concludes this story so well. Peter Jackson does not get enough credit as a director. He absolutely he nailed it with this movie to this day. To this day! It's one of my favorite damn movies of all time. Moving on to the MCU, my favorite franchise of all time. While they have been a little bit of a rough patch for me, it still holds a near dear place in my heart. Infinity War is the ultimate best MCU movie. This is another one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen Avengers Infinity War 50 plus times. I'm not even joking you. This is the one time in a theater where like I was just so jaw-dropped. I didn't know what to feel. This is the first time we see a villain win. I talked about this movie enough. It easily takes the cake for the MCU. Moving on to the X-Men. I don't know if many people know this, but like I love the X-Men movies, and I grew up watching the X-Men movies, and like X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine. While everyone hates on them, your boy loves them, okay? I think everyone could agree this is the best X-Men movie. I'm choosing Logan. It was between this, Deadpool, or X-Men Days of Future Past. I went with Logan this day around. Tomorrow I might switch it. But Logan is one of those movies that is just hard R epicness. Final time, at least we thought it was going to be the final time we saw Hugh Jackman as this iconic character. Wolverine screaming, running through the forest, and he's got those claws out. I mean, like, dude, I don't care. That'll get you jacked out. If I ever need to get in the mood, just get motivated, I'm tossing on that scene of him just yelling through the forest. Ain't no stopping me, okay? Ain't no stopping me. Moving on to the most family-friendly franchise. The Fast and the Furious. You see what I did there? For Fast and Furious, I'm going to choose Fast 5. The most absurd franchises of anything on this list. But Fast 5 like takes the absurdity and it cranks it up a couple notches, but ultimately makes the best Fast and Furious movie. Dwayne Johnson comes in as Hobbs in this movie, and I'm a die-hard Dwayne Johnson fan. Like, I absolutely love this guy. So to see this big, bad, awesome presence come in the movie, and him and Vin Diesel literally fight, that's one of the best choreographed fight scenes of all time. This movie, it's about family, it's about love. It's about drive, it's about power. I love this movie. Fast 5, it's epic. It's kind of dumb. Like, they're literally smashing cars, driving Chargers with, like, a huge vault on it. None of it makes sense, but we are on board, and we love it. And these movies do, like, $1 billion. They're a chance to get. I'm a diehard Fast and Furious guy, okay? It's all about family. I don't even care. Moving on to the Batman universe, not the whole DC in general, just the Batman franchise, because there was like 8+ Batman movies. And for the Batman franchise, I am choosing The Batman. Came out this year, and this movie is every word of epic. And I do love The Dark Knight, and I do love The Dark Knight Rises, and I even love The Batman Begins. But something about The Batman is just a lot different, and I loved everything they did with the long Halloween aspect. Robert Pattinson absolutely crushes it. This long 3-hour epic, not one I'm going to go back and rewatch all that often, but one that definitely stuck with me this year. Still one of my favorites of the year, and it's my favorite of the Batman franchise. Moving on to probably the most controversial franchise on this list, Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. You were the chosen one! This movie's emotional, it's epic, it's badass. It has my favorite lightsaber scene fight ever between Obi-Wan and Anakin. You underestimate my power. Azova Anakin, I have the high ground. I can continue to quote this movie, just know that I freaking love it. Then moving on to a franchise that just didn't know when to come to an end, but I still love it. The Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I really love the first 3. The back 2, I try to forget about, but the first 3 made me love this franchise so much, and I'm going to choose Dead Man's Chest. One of my favorite sequels of all time, but I love Davy Jones. And now, Black Pearl is great, and now World's End is good. Gets a little bit weird with the whole Calypso thing, but Dead Man's Chest is my favorite adventure for the Pirates movies. Jack Sparrow being Jack Sparrow on the island, he's wearing toes around his neck, and Johnny Depp just crushes it in this role. You get Will and Elizabeth returning. Commodore Norrington's gone like rogue, and they have that island fight scene with the wheel going up and down, and you get introduced to Davy Jones and the Kraken. The Kraken's easily one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in a movie. Water freaks me out, okay? It literally does.
Why are you the way that you are?
Moving on to the actual most family-friendly franchise on this list, Pixar. I'm a big Pixar guy, and while Pixar technically is a studio, there's so many Easter eggs and everything, you count it totally as a franchise. That's what I'm doing with it. If you disagree, that's fine. But for the Pixar franchise and the Pixar universe, I'm going to be picking Ratatouille. I love to cook, I love Remy, and Linguini has red hair, and so do I. What's not to love? I love the whole French vibe, I love the score, I love the animation style, and I just love the way this movie makes me feel. Chef's kiss. Moving on to the guilty pleasure franchise I have on this list, the Transformers movies, and I'm going to go with the first Transformers. I think this movie's awesome and badass, and I like Revenge of the Sol, and I like Dark Side of the Moon. I love Michael Bay, one of my favorite directors of all time, and the first Transformers, that was one of my childhood movies I saw in theaters so many times, bought it on DVD, got the toys. It's one of those movies that kind of crafted my childhood. The first Transformers came out in 2007. I was 8 years old, the perfect age for this movie. If you're a kid, there's monsters, aliens, explosions, I'm on board.
Correct!
Next up, we're moving on to the Hunger Games franchise. Honestly, I don't think there's a bad movie in this universe. And for my pick, I'm going with Catching Fire, another one of my favorite sequels of all time. A big part of this is because I love the character of Finnick, and Sam Claflin plays this character oh so well. But it's like the Tournament of Champions for this Hunger Games universe. A great movie with a great ending set into the Mockingjay movies, which are the weaker ones of the franchise, but Catching Fire to me, it always stood out as the heavy hitter. And finally, for my last favorite movie for my favorite franchises, the Mission Impossible franchise, Fallout. Mission Impossible Fallout is one of my favorite action movies of all time, and I think it's safe to say it is one of the most epic action movies ever. Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, aka an absolute badass. I love the Mission Impossible movies, and I cannot wait for the final 2 Mission Impossible movies, but when Fallout came out and Henry Cavill's in there, and he's literally punching his arms, and the whole pocket comes back out, and like he's got that crazy dirty mustache, and like that is the perfect antagonist for Ethan Hunt, aka Tom Cruise. And that bathroom fight scene, you don't get much better choreography fight scenes than that. It is my favorite movie from Mission Impossible. Let me know your favorite movies from your favorite franchises down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Had a lot of fun with this video. Had a good time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe button, comment down below your favorite movie from your favorite franchises. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.